All right, welcome back, everybody. Today's trade recap for Thursday, June 5th, 2025. Finishing the day with 3 trades up about $1,600 today. You can see there the cumulative net profit right there. And today was a good day. I took a trade on ES that ended up losing. Took a trade on gold, which was a nice trade, kind of back to, well, the first trade on ES was not a good trade because, oops, hold on, what did I just do? There we go. First trade on ES was not a good trade because it had broke the stage 2 uptrend, was kind of accumulating, consolidating, and I took it for continuation there where it was actually kind of stage 3 accumulation where just kind of stagnating and end up getting ready to fall backwards. So not a good trade there. You'll see in a minute what I'm talking about. And the gold trade was basically starting, basically coming out of that consolidation to the downside, and I took it long. And basically, the thing that made me take it long was it was kind of a 1-minute triple bottom with double 5-minute bullpen bars. So that's kind of what made me take the long back towards the downward trend line, usually kind of looking for shorts there. So it's kind of a little bit of a counter trend trade that I took, but it was basically with a target in mind that it was going to retrace back to the downward trend line. Then the main trade today, the home run trade, was then on ES again, where basically we were in that, we're coming out of that consolidation at the highs and moving down into a stage 4 downtrend, and basically caught a nice little 1-minute pullback in a 5-minute kind of downtrend, and 5-minute lower lows and lower highs, and was able to get my first contract out for 20 ticks, and then held that runner just trailing at 20 tick increments, and that thing actually just kind of flushed back to the previous day low. After it penetrated through previous day low, it was kind of getting volume increase of exhaustion volume, and honestly, it was up 100. It was over 110 ticks for that one contract. So I actually manually closed it. I could have gotten more. Probably could have gotten at least maybe 130 ticks on it. Probably maybe 120. Probably, I guess I'd say. But I was happy with the trade. I saw. Kind of checked in on it, and I was like, whoa, okay, that thing drops. And I just saw it kind of hitting exhaustion volume, and at a level was like, okay, that's enough for me to take there. So, anyway, let's get into the trades. I'll show you what I did. All right, again, kind of going for the simple scalping approach that I've been doing the past 2 days. Seems to be working out pretty well. I don't really have set hard, fast rules. It's more just kind of reading the 5-minute price action, reading the 1-minute price action. And I think you can kind of see what I'm seeing in real time. If I brought the chart back here on gold, you can see my gold trade here. I'll get to the ES trades then. But you can see the downward trend line here on the 5-minute. I got the 1-minute 21 EMA, the 5-minute 21 EMA there. It pains me to have EMAs on here, but it just kind of helps keep me in check with where we are with the price action, that we're not too extended or anything like that. So basically just looking for 1-minute pullbacks back into support, or back in this case, short. So we're looking for 1-minute pullbacks back into resistance while following the lower lows and lower highs on the 5-minute. So basically through here, nothing to be had. And then we get bound to previous day low. And what I'm thinking here is a reversal off previous day low. That's what I'm looking for there. Or, a flush down and a continuation break there. It tried to continue right here with the exhaustion volume right there. You can kind of see that. We have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 5-minute red bars in a row. And, you're hitting the level. You have big volume spikes coming in here at that level. That to me means it's exhaustion volume. But anyway, I wasn't really looking to trade any of this because it's just meandering around the previous day low. And then we got a 5-minute pin bar there, which made me interested in the first pullback kind of deal, that we were looking to kind of almost break this kind of downtrend that was happening right here. If you're drawing a trend line on this bad boy right there. But we really didn't get that pullback. And then this candle came in, this engulfing candle here, and there's nothing we had there. Like right here, I'm not seeing anything that looks good on the 1 minute chart, even though I got this 5 minute pin bar, which makes my bias long for the next 5 minutes, right? That kind of negates it there. Then we get this bar here coming in at equal volume, kind of getting that volume, so you can kind of see the order block that's getting drawn here. You know, if I was to draw this out, okay, you can see that there's clearly some buying happening in this 64.5, 62 area. As that's happening, we get another 5 minute pin bar closing here. And as we get that 5 minute pin bar closure, I'm taking this long here because we got double pin bars here at a level it has tried once, twice, 3 times the head lower, and it still has not broken down. I think this is going back up to, this is my bias pretty much, is that we have room back up to our downward trend line here on the 5 minute chart. So I'm looking to get my target back up to here, right? I did draw out this order block kind of up here where we had, you know, this gap right here that took that out. So we might come back and retest that as well. But I'm really just looking for that downward trend line. And as you can see there, so the one thing here is I kind of got in a little bit different. I kind of executed this trade a little bit differently, only because I was already in an ES trade with 2 contracts, and my account is only allowed to have 3 contracts active at once. As soon as I closed out the ES trade for a loss, I entered my second contract in here just because it was kind of still in the area, and still, you know, my bias was still coming true, I guess you'd say. I don't know really how you want to say that, but anyway, just added on there and just moved my stop out to manage the risk. So, but anyway, you got that nice bar there, and then once we get that little doji there at that trend line, that's basically where I took it off there. So, yeah, pretty simple trade. Took it off there because I thought this was coming back down the reverse. Kind of went through a little bit there, you know, trying to break that trend line. Nothing for me in here in this area, so. Yeah, anyway, you kind of see it kind of did come up here, test the moving averages, moves down off those moving averages there. And that was basically it for the day. So, yeah, that was my one trade on gold, and we'll go over to ES now. I'll show you what I did on ES. Okay, here's ES. Here's that upward trend line that I was talking about in my beginning part there. So we break this kind of trend line, we just kind of consolidate over previous day high right here. And what I see is kind of this level being drawn right here. You can even say it's an order block or whatnot. Like, you know, if I was to draw this here with the 5 minute candles, let's say, somewhere around right in there. So every time we come up here, anytime we come up into this area, we're getting sold off here. And I was basically looking for the long right here. We kind of do it again, get closed out right there. We get a small little kind of minor pullback on these pin bars here. You can kind of see the volume not really coming in there. All the volume's coming on these kind of bullish pin bars. So I'm looking for the long here. I take the break of that next bar for the long. ES usually, like if we hang out at the high of day, usually likes to bump it higher. Kind of like what happened back here. You can kind of see right here how we consolidated, you know, wedged a little bit and then popped higher. That's basically what I was seeing here. You know, we trying to break the high, come back in a little bit, 50% retracement on that candle, I guess you'd say. Making higher highs, higher lows on the 5 minute. I was basically looking for that continuation up here. It does continue a little bit, but ultimately fails at that high of day right there and ends up coming back down lower. Stop me out there and then continuing lower as well. Now, this kind of changes my bias, right? Because we had the stage 2 uptrend, stage 3 consolidation. Now we're entering stage 4 downtrend, lower lows, lower highs here on the 5 minute. So I'm looking for 1 minute pullbacks into resistance to take for a short. So I get this here. We have a 1 minute moving up here. The one thing I want to see with this 1 minute as it's pulling back is I want to see lower volume on this. It's even better if it's kind of cascading volume, right? Where the volume is kind of dying out as the move's happening up, going upward here. But the main thing I saw here was that, okay, we're back at, you know, it's a break and retest the previous day high. We also had the moving averages right in here. We are establishing our 1 minute downward trend line. Okay, even if I were to draw that, if I would draw another one here, like so, right there, boom, there you go. Closing underneath that trend line right there. So a lot of confluence in this area made me want to take that short. I take it short there on the close. Nice initial move, I'd say, on that there. And then honestly, after this point, as soon as the trade is on, I left it. And I hate doing that because, I want to watch what's going on. But also, I've noticed that when I'm in trades, I will live and die by each candle, and it's not healthy for me to watch the trade. So, take a little bit of heat on it here, coming back in. Again, still has not broken the previous day high, still has not broken my initial level right here. Okay. And this is kind of where we get our move down. Okay. I get my 20 ticks right here back to this kind of block right here, I guess you'd say. You'll see that kind of gets broken here as we dip into there. Okay. And I redraw this block. Basically, I had it drawn up here. I moved it down after this break. And then we get this nice flush here. Again, I went for lunch. I didn't actually see this happen in real time, but, get rid of this trend line. That's no longer valid, right? So there's my trend line drawn there. Okay. Looking for 1 minute pullbacks into resistance. We're riding this down here. Nice flush. Okay. For our runner, just trailing by 20 tick increments. Okay. That's my trailing stop. As we're moving down here, nice big flush on high volume here in the previous day low. We start getting a pin bar there. Nice move down. And I basically I checked on it right around here, and I realized that I was up 100 ticks on this one trade, this one contract. So as we got the pin bar there on the higher volume, I thought, I'm just going to take it off there. I'm just going to take it there because I think we're going to come back up the previous day low. I don't want to give all that back. I like to be able to say that I had a 100 tick trade. So, it does, is the fear creeping in there a little bit, I guess, profit taking. Sure. Yeah. But look what happens. It comes back in. Now this is where, I could have held a little bit more because it does flush even more there, but ultimately it kind of reverses right there. There's a double bottom right here, and yeah, there's a trade to be had right here, back up to the previous day low, right here. Kind of double bottom, first pullback after double bottom. I'd like to see this happen up here, but still, that's all right. That would have been a nice trade. And basically looking for, this big bar right here, this big red bar right here creates a liquidity gap right there, or you want to say there's 100 terms for this. I just say order block right there. You can make up any term you want. Okay. All right. And basically looking for that to kind of come up there and retest. Honestly, as soon as I took this trade, I was done for the day. I was like, all right, I'm up $1,600. That's good enough for me. Let's go. Let's move on. So yeah, anyway, kind of look at what happens. Comes up there, tests that area, and then pivots away off of that. So, and we come back down to this level, and you see it tries to hold it, and then ultimately breaks through. Comes down to that trend line we had drawn and bounces from the trend line instead. So how about that? Anyway, those are my trades for today. Hope you guys enjoyed that recap there. It's a little bit on the longer side, but anyway, $1,600 the account balance right now. If I pull the account balance back up here, let me pull that up. There it is right there. Okay. There's the account right here. You can see weekly P&L, we're at $1,944.06. So that's where the account is right now, $51,944.06. Need to get a $3,000 profit target for the account. So, all right. Trade well. We'll see you tomorrow. Bye-bye.